In the world of home audio, plenty of promising formats and gadgets have come and gone, leaving behind tales of innovation, nostalgia, and disappointment. Today, we explore 25 audio formats and gadgets that met an untimely demise in America, with the last few entries likely to surprise you. Each entry reveals the real reason why they vanished from our living rooms, often leaving us with a bittersweet sense of what could have been. Number 25. The 8-track tape revolutionized portable music in the late 1960s, promising endless listening options in a sleek, plastic package. Brightly colored, with an enticing glow, the 8-track cassette brought the sound of rock and roll to the masses and allowed listeners to forget the hassle of flipping records at the end of each side. As it made its way into cars and living rooms alike, music lovers embraced the convenience of continuous play. But by the early 1980s, the 8-track faded into obscurity, primarily due to the emergence of the compact cassette, which offered superior sound quality and easier handling. Ultimately, listeners desired a better audio experience. Number 24. Quadraphonic LP records were introduced in 1970 to create a multi-dimensional audio experience that shook up traditional stereo sound. Picture it, the alluring covers featuring psychedelic art, with grooves that promised an enveloping 4-speaker format able to bring a symphony into your living room. While initial enthusiasm surrounded quad sound, it ultimately fell victim to complexity. Record labels struggled to produce material for this format, and consumers were bewildered by the myriad of playback systems available. The triumph of simple stereo sound once again proved more appealing, causing this ambitious audio innovation to fizzle out by the late 1970s. Number 23. L-cassette, introduced in 1976, emerged from Japan as a high-fidelity cassette system designed to rival reel-to-reel equipment. With its larger size and robust construction, the L-cassette boasted the ability to deliver top-tier sound quality while combining the convenience of cassettes. Fans enjoyed the smooth, ambient warmth of its audio playback, though few dared to invest in a system, partly due to its limited selection of albums and costly machines. It ultimately lost the battle for consumer attention against smaller, more versatile cassette formats, quietly disappearing from store shelves by 1981. Number 22. DAT, or digital audio tape, sprung up in the mid-1980s as a miracle format filled with promises of pristine sound quality and convenient digital recording. With a familiar cassette-like appearance, the magnetic tape stored audio in a digital format, leading enthusiasts to rave about its fidelity and ability to capture live performances flawlessly. While professional studios embraced DAT for its exceptional sound, it failed to resonate with the average consumer. The high cost and regional licensing issues hampered its potential for home use, as digital audio took flight through other channels. By 1996, DAT became an afterthought, ultimately supplanted by the wave of CDs and other digital formats. Number 21. The digital compact cassette, or DCC, launched in 1992 as a hybrid format combining analog cassette benefits with digital recording potential. When this bright, shiny gadget entered the scene, the excitement was palpable. Imagine a compact tape with the convenience of digital quality and the same size as a traditional cassette. Yet, the DCC faced a major hurdle. Backward compatibility was compromised, frustrating those who didn't want to abandon their existing cassette collections. By 1996, despite its innovative spirit, the DCC slid into obscurity, mainly because the mighty CD had already claimed consumer hearts. The next one was in half the living rooms in America, and it still died. Number 20. MiniDisc, released in 1992, captured imaginations with its sleek, portable design and re-recordable capabilities. It offered listeners a fresh format that allowed for track selection and skipped the limitations of traditional cassettes. Many reveled in the control that MiniDiscs provided, from creating custom playlists to enjoying near-CD quality in a pocket-sized case. However, despite its appeal, MiniDisc never fully gained traction in the US market. The rise of MP3 files and digital music players drew users away from the physical format altogether. By the early 2000s, MiniDisc's fate was sealed, as its era ended soon after the rise of completely digital listening. Number 19. Reel-to-reel home decks hit the market post-World War II, providing audiophiles with superior sound quality and a fascination with open reels spilling vibrant tape in stereo glory. These machines became a centerpiece for serious music fans, characterized by their warm, rich sound that breathed life into recordings. The allure was palpable, with the slightest flick of a switch sending whirring reels spinning, a sensory delight. However, they were often perceived as cumbersome and overly technical for the average listener. By the late 1970s, compact cassettes offered ease and convenience, causing the reel-to-reel deck to become a nostalgic relic of the past. It struggled to compete and ultimately faded from households. Number 18. Wire recorders may feel like a forgotten relic today, but they captured sound back in the early 1940s. The metallic sparkle of the wire tape was an intriguing sight, delivering sound that delighted many enthusiasts, if only for a brief time. Wire recorders were viewed as a groundbreaking means of building personal audio libraries and recording family memories in astonishingly clear quality. But as tape recording technology advanced, the limitations of wire recording began to emerge. The cumbersome nature and vulnerability of the wire to breakage led to dissatisfaction, especially as cassette technology emerged. By the late 1950s, wire recorders gave way to more practical alternatives, making them a whisper of what could have been. Number 17. Selectavision said, out in 1980, was an ambitious attempt to revolutionize home video by merging the concepts of vinyl records and video playback. The curious design resembled a vinyl record, turning movies into thick platters that spun like records in a special player. Users loved the idea of selecting titles without hunting for tapes amid clutter. However, the adventure unraveled rapidly, plagued by quality issues that frustrated audiences accustomed to VHS. SED's limited library and manufacturing challenges cut its lifespan short, and by 1885, it vanished altogether, fallen victim to the overwhelming success of cassette-based home video. Number 16. The Laserdisc audio format, introduced in 1980, represented an attempt to enhance audio fidelity on home video discs. This larger-than-life format promised astonishing sound reproduction and was hailed as the format for audiophiles. Much like a shiny vinyl, it offered the tactile appeal of a record while also delivering an audio experience rivaling CDs. Fans were drawn to its superior quality, particularly for music-based video releases. However, despite its brilliance, the exorbitant pricing kept the audience small. The lack of blockbuster features on discs, alongside the domination of VHS in the home market, meant this ambitious format couldn't compete. By the early 1990s, Laserdisc audio faded into obscurity. The next one was in half the living rooms in America, and it still died. Number 15. HiFi VHS audio trick appeared in the mid-1980s, transforming the ubiquitous VHS tape into a capable audio carrier, using its extra space to confer enhanced sound quality to natural recordings. Video enthusiasts delighted in the novelty of listening to their favorite tunes on a platform typically associated with visuals. However, despite the creative endeavor to maximize VHS's capabilities, audiophiles remained skeptical, preferring dedicated formats that offered undeniable quality. As home video transitioned to DVDs in the late 90s, HiFi VHS audio became lost, outperformed by its own video format and overshadowed by the comfort of compact discs. Number 14. AM stereo burst onto the scene in 1980, an effort to lure listeners into a remarkable audio experience beyond mono AM radio. While the rich, robust sound of stations broadcasting in stereo generated excitement, it presented a confusing time for consumers. Listeners had to adopt new tuners, many feeling the transition was not worth the trouble. As a result, AM stereo struggled to take hold in the market. With more established FM stereo radio listening options capturing the hearts of the masses, AM stereo drifted away, finally fading by 1993 as it was replaced by complete digital formats. Number 13. FM quad broadcast aimed to deliver groundbreaking audio experiences to radio enthusiasts beginning in the mid-1970s. Equipped with the promise of 4-channel listening, it attracted listeners fascinated by how it could fill their rooms with sound. Yet, the complexity of the format made it difficult to implement, and competing stereo AM stations eclipsed its efforts. Efforts to promote quad broadcasts included expensive equipment and limited content. By the end of the 1970s, FM quad fell silent, failing to galvanize interest among enough listeners to sustain its place in the audio landscape. The next one was in half the living rooms in America, and it still died. Number 12. Cassette singles emerged during the late 1980s, offering a compact and collectible way to enjoy your favorite tracks. With their bright cases and colorful artwork, they were eye-catching and marketed as a way to grapple with the rising CD trend. Many cherished the ability to carry a couple of songs in one's pocket, fueled by their affordable pricing and unique tracks. However, cassette singles ultimately faded into the oblivion of music history within a few short years. consumers began to favor albums combined with the convenience of digital formats as cassette players fell out of favor. By 1995, cassette singles were a concept that simply could not survive against the digital wave of the future. Number 11. DBX discs came to life in the late 1970s, boasting a compression system designed to bolster sound quality for vinyl records. These discs enticed audiophiles with better fidelity and low noise levels, attracting listeners who were on a quest for the ultimate audio experience. The DBX logo on album covers advertised high-quality sound like a badge of honor. However, as vinyl lovers grew accustomed to advancements in other formats, the complicated technology of DBX discs met skepticism. Even record players didn't come standard with compatibility for this design, leading to disinterest. By the early 1980s, the hype died down, and consumers turned their attention away from the complicated promise of DBX. Number 10. Digital audio broadcasting, or DAB, emerged in the late 1990s as a high-tech solution for radio transmission, carving out a space for clearer reception and better sound quality. The promise of bringing more stations into your receivers was captivating and turned heads when introduced. Yet, despite its allure, challenges quickly surfaced. Most listeners were not ready to make the leap into digital technology, lacking compatible receivers on hand. Compounded by inconsistent service quality on DAB across regions, interest dwindled. By the 2000s, DAB struggled to gain a foothold in America as traditional AM and FM continued to thrive. Number 9. The compact disc was a revolutionary technology that launched in 1980, captivating audiophiles and casual listeners alike. The crystal-clear sound, smudge-resistant surface, and ability to house entire albums solidified its position in audio history. However, as the 2000s rolled in, the compact disc's reign was challenged by rapidly advancing digital music formats and streaming services. Consumers grew weary of physical media, longing for the simplicity of cloud-based audio libraries and on-demand playlists. By the late 2010s, sales of CDs plummeted, marking the end of an era for a format that once seemed invincible. Number 8. The cassette player was once a mainstay in nearly every American home, appearing in car stereos and living rooms alike since its introduction in the late 1960s. Compact, affordable, and incredibly convenient, cassette players allowed listeners to compile mixtapes and favorite songs with ease. Alongside their counterpart tapes, enthusiasts appreciated the tactile nature of turning the dials and pressing the buttons for fast forward or rewind. Yet, as digital music formats took over, cassettes quickly became outdated. By the late 1990s, decline in popularity forced manufacturers out of the market, turning cassette players into nostalgic artifacts found only in thrift stores. The next one was in half the living rooms in America, and it still died. Number 7. The multi-disc changer saw a rise in popularity throughout the late 1980s and into the 90s, providing music lovers with the ability to hold an entire library of music within one unit. Imagine a machine that could switch through dozens of CDs, spanning genres and artists seamlessly without the labor of physically changing each disc. Audio enthusiasts' homes began to fill with these devices as they sought to enhance convenience. However, the multi-disc changers fell out of favor with the rise of portable music players and digital downloads. The dynamic nature of modern media rendered these once trendy machines obsolete, and soon they would gather dust in homes across America before finally disappearing. Number 6. Digital video disc audio receivers hit the market in the late 1990s, bringing a high-quality audio experience rooted in the burgeoning TV and film industry. These were impressive players, promising exceptional sound for those seeking the best in home audio. Many consumers valued the versatility of a format that combined video and audio into one. Yet, despite its initial promise, the focus on home cinema left many seemingly oblivious to its audio capabilities. Digital audio formats quickly overshadowed DVD players, the marketplace switched priorities as people leaned towards streaming media. By the mid-2000s, these players began to wane as audiences sought out simpler, more accessible options. Number 5. The floppy disk, typically associated with computing, saw fleeting use in the audio realm, representing a crossover of technology in the late 1980s and early 1990s. Music made its way onto these unassuming discs, allowing small pockets of audio to be stored and played back on dedicated receivers. For a brief moment, enthusiasts marveled at this innovative alternative. Yet, as music storage formats advanced, especially with the rise of CDs, floppy disks became an impractical method of playback, replaced by more reliable and manageable formats. By the turn of the century, floppy disks had become a part of audio history, eclipsed by greater digital solutions. The next one was in half the living rooms in America, and it still died. Number 4. The mini-disc player flirted with greatness in the late 90s, promising a small-scale solution for audio enthusiasts looking to listen and record high-quality sound. These stylish, portable devices offered the ability to hold a complete album on a magnetic disc while enabling users to create playlists with unmatched convenience. Early adopters marveled at their compactness, easily slipping them into pockets or bags. However, the mini-disc faced hurdles that would ultimately lead to its decline, overshadowed by the rise of MP3 players and the streaming revolution. By the early 2000s, mini-discs faded from the consumer sphere, unable to compete with the digital changes sweeping the industry. Number 3. The vinyl record, with its stunning artwork, large format sound, and tactile experience, dominated music consumption during the 20th century. Consumers cherished the rich, analog warmth of the recordings, often gathering around their stereo speakers to experience the magic. However, the compactness and convenience of emerging formats led to a swift decline in record sales by the late 1970s. The advent of CDs and the allure of digital downloads produced a mass exodus from vinyl, creating a desert of empty record shelves through the 80s. Yet, irony would follow as vinyl experienced a revival in the late 2000s, proving that history's pendulum swings can be unforgiving, but sometimes do come back. Number 2. The cassette deck, born in 1963, became a cultural phenomenon, allowing fans to document mixtapes and record music from the radio. With the sound of the iconic whir, listeners watched the tape spin and enjoyed the warm nostalgia it provided. Cassettes democratized music for countless consumers, providing practical and affordable access to a wider range of songs. However, as digital technology swept through homes, cassette decks struggled to hold their ground. By the late 90s, they found themselves rendered virtually obsolete, meeting demise in the face of ever-evolving digital music options. And now, number 1. The powerful and revered reel-to-reel recording systems captured the hearts of audio lovers starting in the late 1940s. These magnificent machines combined craftsmanship and robust performance, towering over their contemporaries with impressive design elements, large reels, and identification knobs, entrancing those who embraced the art of sound fidelity. Audiophiles adored the pristine playback quality, treating their machines as pieces of art. Sadly, by the early 1970s, the combination of technological advancements in cassette recording and the growing popularity of portable formats spelled doom for these giants. The costs of equipment coupled with decreasing demand forced them to slip into obscurity, leaving behind epic tales of sonic grandeur. As we look back on these 25 audio formats and gadgets that once enthralled listeners, a common thread emerges: each sought to blend convenience with quality but often fell prey to innovation's relentless march.